All right, let's get right into it. We live in a world that feels full of shocks and surprises, right? These catastrophic risks that just seem to pop up out of nowhere. But what if there's another kind of surprise? A positive one? One that could literally rewrite our future? Well, that's what we're going to unpack today. This incredible clash between destructive black swans and these new regenerative green swans.
So this whole idea was really put on the map by the risk analyst Nassim Nicholas Taleb. He made this powerful argument that history isn't shaped by the stuff we can predict. Nope, it's shaped by these massive, completely unforeseen events. And his timing? It was just perfect. He published his book, The Black Swan, right before the 2008 financial crisis, which became this giant, real-world example of his theory playing out in real time.
Just think back to that 2008 crisis. For almost everyone, it was a complete and utter shock, an event that just turned the entire global system upside down. And then, only after it happened, did everyone start saying, "Oh yeah, I totally saw that coming." That is a classic black swan. It's rare, it has a huge impact, and we all try to explain it away after the damage is done.
But here's where things get really interesting. What if these crises aren't just random accidents? What if the very code, the operating system our economy runs on, has some serious bugs in it? Bugs that make these catastrophic failures almost inevitable.
To really get this, we have to look under the hood at the old blueprint for capitalism. For decades now, it's been running on a really specific piece of code, a core belief that has shaped our world in some pretty profound ways. So at the very heart of this old blueprint is something called agency theory. Now, that sounds a little academic, but it's simple. It's the idea that a company's one and only job is to make as much money as possible for its shareholders. That's it. Anything else, like saving the planet or helping society, well, that's seen as basically stealing from the owners.
And this visual just illustrates that mindset perfectly. You've got business sitting in its own little bubble, completely walled off from society and the environment. In this old model, the only thing that matters is financial return. Everything else, all the pollution, the social disruption, that's all just considered an externality, basically someone else's problem.
So what happens when you run the entire global economy on that piece of code for decades? Well, you don't just get financial crashes. You get a whole ecosystem of what experts call wicked problems.
And what exactly is a wicked problem? Well, it's a challenge where everything is connected to everything else. Think of it like a giant tangled ball of yarn. You pull on one string over here and it just makes the knots over there even tighter. There's no simple, clean solution.
Let's look at a symptom of our biggest wicked problem. Just recently, the CO2 in our atmosphere hit 415 parts per million. Now, to put that in perspective, the last time levels were this high was about 3 million years ago. This isn't just a number, it's a sign of a planetary fever.
And here is the truly wicked part. In 2017 alone, the world spent $5.2 trillion subsidizing the very fossil fuels that are driving that fever. We are literally paying to make the problem worse while claiming we want to solve it. That is a wicked problem in a nutshell.
And it's not just the climate, right? We're facing this whole cascade of interconnected crises. You've got plastic choking our oceans. You've got the rise of antibiotic-resistant superbugs. We even have so much junk orbiting the Earth that it could one day trap us here. All of these are symptoms of a system that was designed without ever really thinking about the future.
Okay, it's really easy to feel, overwhelmed by all of this. I get it. But this is where the story pivots. Because just as our system can accidentally create these destructive black swans, a new idea is emerging that says we can actually redesign it to create their opposite, the green swan.
And the green swan, it's not just some nice, hopeful idea. It represents a fundamental, profound shift in how we think about progress and value. It's about moving from a system that breaks things down to one that builds things up, a move from degenerative to regenerative.
So what is a green swan? Well, it's a breakthrough that delivers exponential, positive change. Like a black swan, it takes us by surprise and it has a huge effect. But instead of causing a crisis, it solves one, often in ways that create all these amazing ripple effects of goodness.
And this is the crucial point. For decades, sustainability has basically meant doing less bad. Reducing our emissions, minimizing waste. Green swans are all about doing more good. The goal isn't just to sustain what we have, it's to actively regenerate and restore what we've lost.
So if we actually want to create these green swans, we can't just bolt them onto the old system.
You can't just install a cool new app on a buggy, outdated operating system and expect it to work. We need a completely new OS for our economy.
Let's go back to that diagram we saw earlier. We started with that old model, with business in its own little bubble. Well, the new model flips that on its head completely. It's an evolution away from just thinking about shareholder value to creating something called system value.
System value really gets down to a simple, undeniable truth. You can't have a healthy business in a sick society or on a dead planet. It just doesn't work. In this new model, business is part of society, and both are completely dependent on a healthy environment. Their fates are intertwined.
So how do we get there? It's a journey, and it seems to have 3 main steps. It all starts with responsibility, just owning all your impacts, good and bad. That builds towards resilience, creating systems that can actually handle shocks. And the ultimate goal? Regeneration, actively healing our societies and our planet.
This all sounds great, right? But what would a real, world-changing green swan actually look like? What kind of scale are we even talking about here?
Well, here's a potential candidate. Researchers at Stanford University put together a detailed roadmap to switch 143 countries to 100% renewable energy by 2050. The price tag? $73 trillion. I know, it sounds impossibly huge. But here's the thing, the plan suggests it would pay for itself in just a few years, thanks to savings on healthcare and climate damage, all while creating 28 million more jobs than are lost. Now that is a green swan. Which leaves us with this final, massive question. The old blueprint for capitalism was basically an accidental black swan generator. The challenge of our time is to see if we can intentionally design a new one, an economic system where the default setting isn't destruction, but regeneration. The real question is, can we do it?